Hello, and welcome to the Live Past Crazy Show. Your host is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with her? Yanmitra appreciates you taking the time out to listen to the podcast, and it is her sincere hope that what we share is something that you can use to help you and someone you know live past crazy.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only. So what better place to be than here with me? Oh, why the internet just went out just there. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. If this is your first time joining the morning show, welcome. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? I hope you're ready to get this Wednesday started. I had to get Instagram up and going, y'all. Hope you enjoyed the show yesterday. Hope you had a great day yesterday and that you're ready to have a good day today. Yesterday we talked about validating your body's knowing. And can you guys see me? Okay. Yesterday we talked about validating your knowing. Day before we talked about claiming ownership of you and what that looks like. Today we're going to talk about honoring your process. So let's get right into the fearless quote of the day. And it's coming from Muhammad Ali. It is the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. And that's by Muhammad Ali. Everyone, I'm sure, is familiar with him. And I absolutely love that quote. Because your belief system is just simply a series of thoughts, right, that we have over and over again. So if you don't like, I don't know why I waited to 40 to start questioning things in my life. Like, why did I wait so long? Why, Jojo, do you believe this? I don't know why I waited so long to do that. It's the repetition of affirmation that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. And that, my friend, is how you begin to change what you think about, what you see, and how you see it. It is really that simple, I promise. All right, so today, the fearless, and tomorrow we're going to talk about you as a small business. But I didn't want to start it today. I want to do, so Thursday and Friday, we're going to talk about you as a small business. But today, we're going to talk about honoring the process of where you want to go and what it is you want to do. So I want to be fine instantaneously. Okay, let's just be real. I need my muscles. I want my waist, and I want everything to be right and perfect, but I want it instantaneously. And I think we're like that with so many things, that we want everything instantaneously, that you forget to trust the process of the thing. And in trusting the process of the thing, you begin to learn more about yourself, what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. But more importantly, when you trust the process, you find out what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. When you trust the process, the results we are seeking is remembering who we are, and we must know who we are not. And when you trust the process, you're figuring out who you are not, right? And then we are remembering who we are. That's why I tell you guys, have that quiet time, be to yourself, because you're not going to have the answers if you don't talk to yourself. You got to trust the process of if my destiny's not changing, I've got to trust the process that I'm on the right road. I got to trust the process that this is the way that I'm going to achieve what I need to achieve. This is the way to go. And in the process of it, listen, I'm not going to tell you that the process of it is going to be, it's going to go the way you want it to go. Like, I thought my life was going to go this way. And I had envisioned it going this way, and I had mapped out the road. When I tell you it went so left, and not only did it go left on its own, I drove it left. I drove it over there. And I cannot tell you how many relationships, friendships that I have just slaughtered because I didn't trust the process of the thing. Or, and this is where you get into knowing what it, trusting the knower in you and knowing what's good for you and trusting yourself and your thought process. Because sometimes this is part of ego. I had to let go of what I thought things should look like and how they should come. Because when they came, when I was hell-bent on keeping it in the box, and then it came to me in the little box wrapped up, guess what happened? It wasn't what I wanted. But because I wasn't willing to let my ego go, I couldn't, one, admit that. Number two, I couldn't see it because your ego sometimes, not sometimes, but all the times takes over your vision, so you can't truly see what's really going on because your ego will not allow you to do so. And so I didn't trust the process that I was doing. I trusted, you know how sometimes everything that sparkles and glitter is not good for you. Everything is presented in the most perfect way. And I'm not saying I learned to doubt things, but I learned to be informed. Let's not allow ignorance to keep us from poor decision making. And stop allowing ignorance to keep us from moving forward. And that's where I was at. Now, saying that ignorance stopped you from a thing or it prohibits you from a thing is not a bad thing. You were simply not informed about the situation, about where you needed to go and what you needed to do. Now that we're new on this journey and we're walking this thing out, now there's too much information for us to say we didn't know. You got to seek the information. And sometimes I don't think we go look for the information because we don't want to know the answer. I didn't go looking because I didn't want to know the answer. And I didn't want to know the answer because then I'd have to check myself. And I didn't want to check myself because I felt like it needed to be like this. And because I felt like it needed to be presented this way, I couldn't receive it any other way. And how many times have we blocked our blessings of a thing because we assumed it needed to come a certain way? Oh, gee. I know I have. I've blocked many a blessing. So I had to learn to honor the process of my journey. And in honoring the process of the journey, I had to begin to trust my knower. I had to take ownership of both my thoughts, my feelings, my emotion, the mental, the physical. And I knew that some things were going to come quicker than others and some things were not. But I had to trust the process. And in trusting the process, it says we must know who we are not. And we don't know who we are to begin with. Because if you're like me, and I will always say confessions and conversations, but I will tell you that this will be something that will be valuable to you to do, is to sit down and ask yourself what it is that you desire, what it is that you want, what it is that you think you can accept, and what are the things that you cannot accept. You need to write all of that down, because if it's in your head, you can change your mind 11 million times and you forget. But when you write it down, something about that makes it clearer, makes it more permanent, it makes it real. And sometimes we're not willing to journal or to write it down, because then we have to face the facts of it. Like when I did that a couple of weeks ago, it was 2 Sundays ago, where I wrote out the things. I didn't want to write them out because I didn't want to deal with the facts of the things. But I knew I had to honor the process of where I was going. And part of that process is taking ownership of my responsibility, right? And then figuring out what I'm going to do about that. If we're not willing to take responsibility for it, there's no need to complain about it. See, you not taking responsibility for the thing that's hurting you, you not taking responsibility for the thing that's hurting you, is you willingly not taking responsibility for your life. That's you saying, my life's not that important. I'm going to continue to let this happen over and over and over again because it's not important enough for me to deal with it right now. And here's where we get caught up, y'all. We get caught up in thinking, and you can use friendships, relationships, you can use your job. This is what keeps you, we talked about in the habit of waiting, how you get stuck in that habit of waiting. This is part of keeping you waiting process. When you say, but they're not a bad person. But it's just this one or two things, so maybe I can work around, I can work with it. Now, please understand there's a difference between compromising and working with someone where there's a mutual respect and understanding and love and foundation there, and someone taking advantage and you not want to take responsibility to deal with. Because a lot of times we think that, and this is where crazy can become so fine, like the line can be blurred, where you don't think it's crazy because it's not the extreme crazy. It's not, he bashing your head, he ain't cussing you out. He's not mentally abusive, he's not emotionally abusive, but there are things there that don't sit well with your knowing, with the core of who you are. And it doesn't sit well at all. And you not trusting your knower, you keep telling yourself, it's okay. Eat that. It's okay. Don't pay that any attention because, they're a good person at heart. Honey, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. They can be nice as they can be. It doesn't mean that what's happening with you and you trusting your process and your decision making is right for you. It doesn't mean that person, even though they're sweet and nice as they can be, and that thing that keeps coming up doesn't bother you, or it's not. And here's the thing, we compromise on things that make us question our integrity, our foundation, and who we are at our core. But because we assume that they're such a nice person, we let them slip by. It's just that they didn't, they nice people, they didn't mean it. Yes, the hell they did. They meant it. Actions are intentional. Your actions are intentional. Your thoughts are intentional. And the second we start to believe and allow it, and because it's not that bad, and it's not as bad as, well, at least he's not, or at least she not. Those words and phrases will keep you stuck. It will keep you in the habit of waiting until something good happens. Well, they're not a bad person, so I'm just going to wait this out and maybe they'll change, or maybe this. No, boo. Actions are intentional. Thoughts, emotions are intentional. It doesn't matter. And I had to come, and here's the thing, it doesn't make you a bad person for not wanting it. It doesn't make them a bad person for expressing themselves in the way that they do. However, we both have to honor each other's boundaries. I have to honor that what you're doing is what you want to do. And you have to honor what I want to do. And if they can't coexist, again, please understand, I'm talking about adult things. We're not talking about, we need to compromise, we need to work together. And somebody does you wrong one time, then you out the door. I'm talking about, it at your core, and it's pulling at the back of your head. You know what I'm saying? It's pulling on your neck. Like, damn it, that's bothering me. Excuse me, can you please not do that again? Sure, I cannot do it again, and they do it again. That is intentional. Actions are intentional. You can't explain away an action, because here's the thing. Before you had the action, you had the thought. Before you had the thought, it was a passing, like, I wonder. and then it stuck. You then had to matriculate that thought into a physical action. We matriculate our thoughts into action every single day when we get up and go to work and provide for our families every single day. So you can't tell me, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, or oops, I'm sorry, you know. Yeah, we can be sorry and we can forgive, but we can also honor that from this point I cannot go and you cannot come. Because what I can't do, and I have learned, and when we talked about claiming ownership of yourself, and I said you got to rest in it for a little while before you start to walk in it, that's the part where you say, you know what, I can't handle this, so I'm not going to take that, and I'm going to be okay with saying I'm not going to allow this in my space, and then feel that and rest in the fact that just for the day you made the decision that this is not going to reside in your space. And then once you feel it, you know, you feel yourself like, girl, I made that decision. Now stick to it. Now you can walk it out. A to the man keeper. Honor yourself. Take ownership of yourself first. You can't, and here's, y'all, a hard lesson for me was I could not get mad at somebody treating me some kind of way when I voluntarily allowed them to continuously treat me that way. I can't get mad at them. I can get mad because you hurt my feelings. But after some point, I got to get mad at myself and take responsibility, because just like their actions were intentional, so were mine. I intentionally kept going back. I intentionally kept forgiving. And here's the thing. Can I say this and not hurt nobody's feelings? This is where Christianity can get you tricked up. It can get you caught up, and it can turn the cheek 70 times 7 and forgive your neighbor and forgive. Me forgiving has nothing to do with me interacting with you. Me forgiving you has nothing to do with me placing you outside of my boundaries. Me forgiving you has nothing to do with me allowing you in my life. I can forgive you and move on. And sometimes I think we forget that when we forgive people, that's it. Y'all, it's done. You forgave them, please move on. And sometimes we think as Christians, oh, you forgave them, you got to keep interacting. No, boo, you don't. You don't. What you owed them was the forgiveness. What you owed yourself was the forgiveness of yourself. And when you start to take ownership of yourself, then you have no problem setting that boundary. Oh, I forgave you. And you can say with all the full wholeheartedness, Jesus, you got in you. Oh, I forgive you. And there's nothing left over. Oh, I forgive you. It's okay. But me forgiving you doesn't mean I have to continue to interact with you. It just doesn't. I've given myself the grace and the peace and the forgiveness. I'm giving you the same grace, peace, and forgiveness. Peace be unto you, my brother. Deuces. My sister. Or whatever. Friendship, job, whatever scenario you want to put. Forgiveness doesn't mean I have to continue with the thing. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean I have to continue with the thing. It doesn't. And if you think it does, then you're willingly participating again. The hardest thing I had to do was check myself, check my ego, and check my mouth, and then check my actions, and then realize that I can only get mad at a person for hurting me so much, because now I'm willingly participating in the downness of me. I'm giving you the tools to take me down. So now, and then, sister, brother, not only are you having it to do that, let me tell you something what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen after you leave said situation, friendship, job, relationship, best friend, whatever it is, after you leave it, because you gave them the tools to continue to hurt you or tear you apart. You're fighting two battles now when you leave. You're fighting the battle of don't do that to me again, and you're fighting the battle of JoJo, how did you give them the tools to do that to you? Like you willingly did that. So now you're fighting 2 battles in one when we could have just started out with 1. But because we wanted to forgive and, oh, at least he's not that. At least he's not this. And we keep renegotiating our standards. And boo, you're doing twice the work. They only doing their part. You doubling it up. You investing more in them than you are yourself. You got to claim ownership of yourself, sister. If I don't ever leave you with anything else, please claim ownership of yourself and ground yourself in it. Stand in it. Take that deep breath and stand flat-footed, head up, chest out. No. Nope. I have no problem saying nope with a smile. No, thank you. With the sweetest voice. No, I appreciate, you know what I appreciate? I appreciate you taking the time to think that I might want to possibly participate in this crazy. However, I choose not to. But thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to participate. Claim ownership of yourself. That means you got to receive yourself. You got to forgive yourself. Give yourself the grace, the peace, that security, and that confidence that you're seeking. Give it to yourself. You got to define you. Okay, and the only way you want to define you is figure out what it is that you don't like. Now we're in a perfect opportunity to figure out what it is that we do like. We're going to develop some new rules to us. Now we're going to rest in that for a minute. And that may take you a couple of months. I want you to rest in it, wallow in it, feel it. What it feels like to be JoJo. What it feels like to be insert your name. What it feels like to feel all of you. To feel whole again and not misplaced pieces here and there. Feel that. And now, once you feel it and it's covered in head to toe, now walk in it, sister. Now, when something comes up and it doesn't, go with the guidance of truth. Y'all know my guidance of truth. It doesn't meet up to those 3 things. Or if it's not riding smoothly, you can say, oh, that bumped me. Please understand, again, we have an adult conversation. There's a difference between when there's a mutual respect, love, and understanding and a foundation from which we are both coming from a mutual place and somebody taking advantage of the situation. And don't allow that at least he's not this. Well, they not as bad as this, but at least he don't do this to keep you in the habit of waiting. And then you done waited your whole life away saying at least this, at least that. Well, they are a good person, but they do this thing that do. But at least, boo, I'm about to be 45. In a couple of months. I'm not fixing to continue to do this here. I'm not fixing to do that. Nope. I'm not participating. Thank you for thinking of me that perhaps I may have wanted to participate, but I choose not to. And so when you take ownership of yourself, you can say that, and you can say it because you're stating facts only. I'm not saying it because I'm mad. I'm not saying it because I'm angry. I'm not saying it because I'm hurt, because I have done the forgiveness part, okay? I have forgiven you. I have forgiven myself. I've given grace to you, grace to myself, honey. I have departed all things of my requirement. What is not required is for it to continue. That's not required. That's not. So when we honor the process, that's all part of the process. So I'm going to honor my process, and I'm going to honor your process, okay? Your process ain't mine. They don't go together. You want to be my boyfriend? You want to be my girlfriend? Check a box, yes, no, maybe. We don't go together. We don't go together. And that's okay. And I want you to get to the point where you can say it without attitude. You can say it without malice. You can say it without ego. You can say it without any resolve to do any ill will toward the other person. When you can get to that point, my sister, this off of here is different. It's stress-free over here, up on these shoulders, because you have trusted the process. You've done the work, right? You've done the things that you need to do. Oh, but you know what? She's a good mama, so I'm just gonna, because she not bad. She's not a bad mother. She's not a bad wife. It's just, these things that just keep He not a bad husband. He not a bad boyfriend. It's just these things that just keep us say without hurt. Because this is for me in my process. When I've got to the point where I can forgive you, I can forgive myself. I've given us both grace and understanding, right? I've done all of that. Now, and I have allowed, and please, what you don't want to do is cut the process short. So I've allowed myself to cry, hurt, be mad. I've allowed all of that to happen so that I have begun the healing process of me. So in all of this, I've begun the healing process of me, which is claiming ownership of yourself. That's your healing process. Okay? So when I've done all that, and when I'm resting in who I am, and I begin to walk it out, it is without hurt. It is without anger. It is without frustration. It is purely with love that I tell you what I have to tell you. And then it doesn't, for me, it's no longer awkward. It's not awkward. It's not hurtful. It's not, oh, you a bad person and I'm a good person. Oh, you did me wrong. And no. It's simply a place of, from this point, I cannot go and you cannot come. I've taken the time to heal myself, and I wish that for you. But we cannot participate together. I'm honoring your process as well as I'm honoring mine. Good morning, sunshine. How you doing? So you've got to honor the process. You owe it to yourself. It's tax time. Can refund yourself to yourself. How about that? Can I get a refund on JoJo, please? Thank you. I want all my coins back. Ownership of yourself. And then trust the process. And validate your body's knowing. And in this, you going to... Thank you, ma'am. In all of that, y'all, you're learning about yourself. The quote of the day is the repetition of affirmation that leads to beliefs. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. So our belief system was, you called me fat, stupid, ugly. You said I wasn't going to be nobody. You said that my mama didn't love me. My daddy didn't love me. Wasn't nobody going to love me. I mean, I've been called about every name. While he was calling me names, he was punching me in my mouth. While he was calling me names, he blacked my eye. He threw me out the car. He pulled out my hair. And I began to believe that thing. Not only did I begin to believe it, I lived it out. I lived it out for years. But the moment, and your belief system is a series of thoughts that you have over and over again. Which is why I love this quote by Muhammad Ali. It is the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. Once I rejected his belief system and adopted my own, then things begin to happen. But first, you got to take ownership of yourself. You got to validate your knowing. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to honor the process. What was the quote on Monday? Freeing yourself is one thing. Claiming ownership of your free self is another. And that's by Toni Morrison. See, we can talk I'm free all day. But until you take ownership of your freedom, it ain't no such thing. Because a lot of us are free physically, but you in jail mentally. Every single morning you wake up and look in that mirror. Because I used to look in the mirror and I wouldn't even turn on the lights. Because every time I turn on the lights, I heard you fat, you ugly, you stupid, you ain't never going to be nobody. Now I turn on the lights and be like, girl, you sure looking good today. Look at them pretty teeth. Look at them eyebrows. I love your eyebrows. Until you become free here and in your emotion, it makes it very difficult to continue in free. Freeing yourself is one thing. Claiming ownership of your freed self is another. And that is by Toni Morrison. That was Monday's thought. Quote, which came in with claiming ownership of yourself. Rest in it. It's okay to feel yourself, because guess what? Somebody else is feeling themselves. You want to know how? Because their actions are showing you every day. They actions show you every day. What they not doing is respecting you. Let's be clear. Let's deal with facts only. Their actions are showing you every day. They don't, one, respect you. They ain't caring nothing about your thought, your feelings, your nothing. What is not happening is you crossing their mind about what they about to do is going to impact you. They not thinking about that. They not caring about you. But we can get caught up with, but at least he's not. But at least he's not as bad as this. Well, Jojo, he didn't punch me in the mouth like your man did. Oh, okay, well, But guess what? Your emotional abuse that you taking, and you ain't even gotta call it emotional abuse. Whatever it is you taking is just as bad as what I took. You got to honor your process. When you forgive someone, you forgive them, you give them grace, you give them peace. I give you peace, abundance, and love all day long. It does not mean that I need to continue with the thing. And in trusting the process, y'all, you got to check yourself and make sure you're not voluntarily reacting and acting in that process. I'm not going to volunteer, because when you start on this journey and you start doing the work and you realize you was giving them the extra tools to do the thing, to do it. Like, you hearing them tell you this, and because you keep saying, oh, well, at least this, at least that, you continue to give them the tools to beat you up even more. Then you really got a complex. Let me tell you how hard that is to overcome when times are hard and times are dark and you call yourself wanting to be free. Self-care is gangster. It's not for the faint of heart. You got to be willing to do the work. But first, you got to know that you're worth it. And if you don't think you're worth it, boo, you will always say, at least he's not as bad. She's not as bad. You will always continue to compromise. And no one will be able to help you out of that situation. And it ain't even got to be bad. That's how we get in the habit of waiting. We're waiting on people to change. We're waiting on that thought process to evolve. We're waiting on them to grow up. We're waiting. Here's my thing. And please understand, if you came with everything, why are you accepting less than? See, they demanded more of you, but you're not demanding more of them. Friendships. You the friend that's always there. But when you reach out, ain't nobody ever there. Because, they busy with their life and and things. That make you go, right? Honor your process. Because they're honoring theirs. What I found out is I was the one that had the problem. In every friendship, in every relationship that didn't go the way I wanted, y'all know what I found out? It was me that had the problem. They didn't have none. See, my ex-husband didn't have a problem beating me. I did. He didn't have a problem. My friend, who I've been friends with for years, they didn't have a problem with saying slick things. Or, girl, you smarter than I thought you was. What does that mean? Am I slow? Did you think I was slow? Or, I'm going to teach you how to do this. Did you think I didn't know how? Or the word little. I was the one that had the problems with the things. They clearly had no problem. You want to know how they didn't have a problem? Because they continued to do and I continued to allow them. I had the problem. They did not. They were very clear about their actions and their intentions. Actions are intentional, okay? Actions are intentional. Eventually, sorry doesn't work because it was intentional. You had to think a thought, then you had to make the thought into motion. That takes a lot of work. So I figured out I was the one with the problem. I didn't like the relationship. They did. They clearly enjoyed the benefits of JoJo. Because, or whoever is watching, insert your name. They are clearly enjoying the benefits of being your friend, being your boo, being your woman, being your man. They enjoying all benefits of what you bring to the table. They ain't got no problem. You got the problem. And your problem is that you want more than what's there. And then some people can make you feel bad for wanting what's more. And can I ask y'all a question as I get ready to close out the show? Who came up with this thought? Somebody tell me. And I ain't even being smart. You're like I'm for real. I need to know. Who Who say this, Harpo? Who say things have to be like in relationships? Well, you know, you got to grow and things are hard. Why is it the concept that you have to grow through the hardships of a person for years to get to the end part of the good stuff? Who said that? Who made that rule up? Who told me that, oh, well, you know, you got to put in 10 years of being disappointed, being hurt, doing this? Who put that rule in place? Before eventually you see the fruit of your, what? The fruit of what? My depression. Because I could have killed myself. The fruit of my what? Aggravation. Because I done gained weight, got headaches, stress, I got high blood pressure. The fruit of what? What are we waiting on? Why is it hard? Why do you say it have to be hard? Who said that? Whose rule was that? I'm a believer, and this is truly my belief. And I welcome this conversation either here on the morning show or outside the morning show. Please send me your thoughts, because a sister need to understand. Who made that rule up, number one. Number two, who said it was so. Number three, if I have done the work, if I've done the work, right, and I'm bringing everything, right, Cree, you feel me, Cree? I knew somebody was going to help us sister out. And I bring everything to the table, right? All the things, and I lay it down. I say, here's all the things. And I'm not negotiating down, and someone comes in and says, oh, well, that's great. I'm not negotiating down either. Here's all the things. But then the things don't come to pass, but your part is coming to pass. Now, please understand this grown folk conversation. There's a difference between there being a common ground, working towards something, understanding something. But you mean to tell me that you want me to accept your less than while you demand more of my more than? You want JoJo to be more than while you continue to give me less than. So you want me to work through that for years and continue to give you the tools to beat me down while I'm trying to hold you up while you beat me down. And that's supposed to be our relationship? Who made that rule? That don't make y'all mad? We got aunties and uncles and grandmas been married 35, 40 years, and it wasn't until year 35 into their marriage that they got a good man. The hell? Nope. Not participating. And I understand working with someone. I understand growing. I understand all of that. But boo, we got to have a mutual respect and a mutual respect and love for each other. So we holding each other up. But if I'm trying to hold you up and you beat me down and you get mad because I'm not holding you up hard enough as you beat me down, it can't go both ways. Then where I think sometimes the Bible and Christianity get folk in trouble. But that's my personal thought for another day. So on this wonderful Wednesday, thank you for joining the Fearless Morning Show. We're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Fearless quote of the day is the repetition of affirmations that leads to the belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, then things begin to happen. And the fearless thought of the day is honor your process. Honor your process. Honor your process. A to the M. So I hope this has helped somebody today, guys. I know it's truly helped me. And I hope you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Trust the process, y'all. You can forgive someone and move on. Okay? At some point, you got to allow the better that you want. It ain't coming from them. You got to allow space for it to come. And the longer you hold on to something that's no longer serving you, and you're not serving them, because it goes both ways, the longer it's going to take for that blessing that you say you wanted to come. That I can guarantee you. That I'm a living witness. So, all right, guys, I hope you have an amazing Wednesday. Please make sure you share the show. And I'll see you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Thank you again for listening to the Live Past Crazy Show with Yonmitra Jojo. She is the only Live Past Crazy specialist, and she is glad you spent your time with her. If you would like to know more about why she knows crazy and about her journey, she invites you to check out her website, www.livepastcrazy.com, as well as follow her on social media. Yonmitra is her tag for IG, Twitter, and Facebook. JANMETRA. She also invites you to join her on the Fearless Morning Show, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. on Facebook Live. Again, you can find us on Facebook with the Fearless Morning Show page or by name. Remember, as a result of working with the only Live Past Crazy specialists, individuals are able to identify the crazy in their lives and develop a specific blueprint to begin to live past crazy. Do you know anybody who needs to live past crazy? Then send them over her way, because there is life after crazy. Be peaceful, period. And Yonmitra will see you guys on the next show.